if you get fulfillment, if you make yourself proud that you've done a really good job, it only adds to your overall happiness.
Hey everybody, it's John Lamberton here alongside my good friend and business partner, Mr. Jason Brockman. We are here for another episode of the Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast, where as always, it is our job to help you get more customers and make more money without just working harder. So without further ado, let's dive straight into this month's episode. Today, we are joined by Percenter Neil Symonds, founder of Chamserve in Chamonix, France, who helps staff, owners and guests find more joy through something that he calls time happiness. Neil, welcome to the Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast.
Hi there. Nice to be here. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Fantastic. Lovely to have you with us, Neil. For those watching on YouTube, by the way, you're not seeing Neil, you're not seeing any of us. The internet is playing up today. So we're doing an old school audio only podcast. I want to start today, Neil, with this idea of time happiness. This is something that I think you coined. I certainly first heard you talk about it a couple of years ago. And I think it's really, really resonated. And it's now the lens through which you see so many things. So can you just describe for the listeners and any watchers we have left now with the black screen, what is time happiness and what does that mean for you?
Well, with time happiness, I mean, we talked about it with work in particular to start off with, and it's a way of understanding what people, in terms of the people we work for and the people we work with, what they want to get out of their time here, and in particular with us. What makes them tick? You know, it can't be just about money. It can't be just doing a job for the sake of it because there's nothing else to do. It's about actually, you know, why they're here. For me, I can't understand why people would do a job if they absolutely detest it, if they absolutely hate it. They do a job for a reason, and they have to enjoy what they do. They enjoy their lifestyle. They enjoy their challenges, and owners. We want to work with owners that really want to enjoy their time when they're at their property. So for us, it's giving time to our owners to really make the most of when they're there and to work with people who really enjoy their jobs, what they do, and for us to provide them with support that they need to ensure that they do enjoy their time whilst working with us and their time generally whilst here. You know, we're really lucky in the fact that we live in a beautiful mountain town in the Alps in France. People choose to come here to live their lives, to spend their happy time, and we want to ensure that when they do come here, they absolutely enjoy and what they do, and we give them the opportunity to do it. It's a lot of the people that work with us, they're cleaners, and you know, it's not the most glamorous job in the world. But it's quite a stoic thing to say, look, you know, you're not going to be congratulated every time you clean something, but you've got to be proud of what you do. You've got to enjoy what you do. And you've got to understand that if you can control what you do, and if you get fulfillment, if you make yourself proud that you've done a really good job, it only adds to your overall happiness. And that's what we're trying to push forward to the people that we work with, and that's what we want to. And the people that we work for, we want them to realise that, you know, they've got to enjoy their time here, and we're going to provide them with as much support as we can to enable them to do it.
Yeah, I love the fact that it's not just about your time happiness, because we speak to a lot of business owners, and you know they've taken my ideal job description, what I want, when I want, where I want, how I want, if I want, completely to heart, and they've made it all what I want, where I want, how I want, and they've not thought through the team members. And like I say, they've got to be happy. And I love that you've mentioned proud there, because I think in our summer special, Jace, we talked about pride, didn't we? What the importance of being proud of the work that you do, or the products that you ship, the service that you provide, didn't we?
Yeah, very much so. And I love the values, because as Chamserve and you have had that value of happiness for a long period of time. And and I know trying to get it into your team was interesting, because it is a concept that most people don't know. Yeah, the boss wants to be happy, and let's just keep the boss happy, kind of thing. But we don't actually distill that down to our staff, and very rarely even to our clients. Usually customers and clients are just a pain in the ass, which just happens to, we have to live with, I think, with lots of small business owners kind of feel that. But you and lots of 1%ers and two have that value of actually, what does that happiness look like? If the happiness rolls down from me to my staff, to my clients, everyone's happy, the business is in a better place, and actually you start doing really magical things.
Yeah, I absolutely think you're right there, Jason, and that's what we try and instill. A lot of the people that we work with, they obviously, most of them are self-employed, and most of the jobs they do are on their own. You know, if you're preparing a property, if you're doing some maintenance, if you're meeting and greeting someone, but all the preparation and all the cleaning work and things like that is done as on your own. So you're sort of in control of your own destiny. You're doing it to the best. You're not being measured. We're not checking every property. Once it's been cleaned. Obviously, there are checks in place. If the property isn't cleaned well and the client arrives, then of course they've got the opportunity to complain about it. So there are checks in place. But the point being is that you're doing the job to the best of your ability, and we're giving you the opportunity to do that. We're providing you with processes, with systems, with checks. But at the end of the day, you're responsible for you, and you're not responsible for other people. You control what you can control. And if you can control your environment and how you do something, how you achieve something, it's only going to lead to personal satisfaction and personal happiness. And that's how I see it from a business point of view, but also from a personal point of view. Looking at yourself and understanding what really makes you tick. What is it that you get out of bed for? Is it to get out of bed to do a 9 to 5 job that you don't particularly like? Get on a train for an hour and a half just to sit in an office? Is that your beat? What is it that drives you? And once you understand what makes you tick and what drives you, you'll suddenly realize that there's a change in focus in how you want to do things and how you want to be seen internally rather than how other people see you. It's all about how you feel. It's quite a selfish thing to say, but it's at the end of the day, it's you and it's your life, and you want to surround yourself with the things and the people that make you happy. But you've got to be content in yourself. You've got to be happy in yourself and focus on yourself before anyone else, in my view.
Were you describing somebody just now with the hour and a half commute and the being in the office from 9 till 5?
Well,
is this a revelation you've had from previous experience, Neil?
Well, that was me in my youth. I started in the city of London, working in the insurance industry, for a very prestigious industry. I was in Lloyd's of London. I was lucky to get the job. My father was in the industry, and he pushed me in front of one of his friends who worked on an underwriting syndicate. It was a very big privately owned company at the time. And I was probably the youngest person to work in Lloyd's as far as I knew, at the age of 18, straight after A-levels. I struggled my way through school. I wasn't particularly successful. I was quite shy, actually. I was only crazy in front of my family and friends. And sport was my only outlet. But working in Lloyd's was unbelievably exciting, vibrant, as I said, very prestigious. But it was an industry that, it was length of time. You had to do your time. I was data entering or photographing things, and you worked your way up. And after, I think I was there for 6 years, and as much as I've made lifelong friends, relationships are built on in insurance. The insurance industry is built on relationships. Trust, and long-term commitment to everything, and learning your way through. And it's the insurance industry, disasters are very cyclical in their nature. So you've got to go through it. And I just couldn't see myself doing that for 40 years in the city. Very, very fidgety, very, wanting to get on and do other things. So as much as I really enjoyed my time there, I knew it wasn't for me. I just couldn't be standing still doing that for so long. There was so much more to the world to see, so much more I wanted to get out of life than, having 4 or 5 weeks off every year, commuting to London, commuting out of London. Oh, God, that's no lifestyle for me.
I think I have that every time I visit London. I think I could not do this every single day. We've just had a call with a fellow 1%er talking about time happiness, really, because he's got a fantastic new member of staff, really, really happy with this member of staff. But this member of staff has to contend with the M25 every day. He's got a bit of a nightmare commute. So we're there thinking, okay, how can we put time happiness into this person's role so that they don't throw their notice in, throw the towel in, due to circumstances outside of our control. So if it had been Lloyd's of somewhere sunny or somewhere with a nice ski scene, you might still be there, Neil. Is that the case?
Possibly, although to be honest, it was the job. Working in the city, it's a great place to work. I mean, it's so prestigious. Everyone's suited and booted, and you do feel, part of an elite, group of people, team, if you like. You are up there. But the job, the repetitive nature of it, the longevity of it, it's. I could see myself developing and doing a bit, and growing up the ladder, but it's a long ladder and a long time, and 40 years is a long time to be pushing your way up that ladder. And I just wanted to do more, wanted to do things different. So much, experience, travel, meet lots of people, all that sort of stuff that you can't do when you're sat in an office doing a job. And so I think as much as the environment obviously helps, also the nature in what you do. If it doesn't match your personality, if it doesn't match what you really want out of life, then it's not for you. Why fight it? I'm going back to that the people that clean with me. You have to enjoy what you do. You have to be proud of what you do. And if it's not, I've got a lady that's worked with me. She's worked with me in the bar when I had a bar in Chamonix when I first started Chamserve, and she worked and she's now cleaning for me, but she's had a few jobs here and there. I wanted to develop into a property manager and take on more responsibility, but at the end of the day she said, no, I'm a great cleaner. That's what I want to do. What I want to do is clean and do the best I can and do the best for you. And she really is very, very content with that. And she's my best cleaner, and she is so happy and proud of what she does. And she gets so much out of it. She obviously has a life out of it. She lives in the Alps. She lives in the mountains. She's married to a Portuguese chap. So they spend a lot of time in Portugal as well. He's a chef. But she absolutely adores what she does. And I adore what I do, but I adore having complete control over my destiny. I adore running my own company, earning as much as I want to earn. I have a lot of time off. I do a lot of traveling. I spend a lot of time with my family because that's the most important thing. That makes me happy. Is having the flexibility and spending time with my family and friends and traveling as much as I can.
So we realised that Lloyd's wasn't fulfilling. I guess that's the bottom line. It certainly didn't solve your itchy feet problem that you had. So was it straight into travel for you? After Lloyd's?
No, I was going to go and do a ski season, but I felt I wanted to educate myself. I felt that I wanted to learn how to learn. So I went to university. So I did accept another job in Lloyd's. It was like a last-ditch attempt for about 8 or 9 months with a new company, but it didn't work out. So I went to university in Nottingham. I did a finance and economics degree. But it was less about the learning, more about gaining confidence so I could go out there. I didn't feel I was ready to travel on my own and to see the world on my own without some more without the confidence in communicating and meeting people and having resilience and get them realizing that I can do things that I didn't think I could do, and that university, as well as learning about economics and finance and business management, things like that, it was as much about growing internally as it was anything else. I was lucky in the fact it was back in the day that, whilst I didn't get the A-level results to go into university straight away, because I'd worked for a number of years, I could apply under my own back. I got free education. So back in the day, it was a great thrill to do it. And I could finance my way through university because I had savings as well. And so from there, after university, I went traveling for 2 or 3 years before trying to settle down again. And I loved every minute of my travels. I loved doing odd jobs as I was traveling. I was in America, first of all, doing the BUNAT thing after university, working in a roller coaster theme park in Ohio, and then traveling around the States in a beaten up old Cadillac with a few mates. And then on to Australia, where I worked in Sydney for the Department of Education in their sort of accounting department, and then up north in Manly, in Cape Town, up the top there, as a film extra of all things on a big Hollywood film. And then when I finished traveling around there in New Zealand, I came back to the UK. I got a job with British Airways as a business analyst, but I fell flat on my face. Now, I hated the commuting around the M25. I really feel for your friend who's got a staff member that does that. Didn't like where I was living in Brixton, and hated working at Heathrow Airport for a big multinational company like British Airways that was very unionised, and they insisted it was a 9 till 5 job, and you did your time and you got promoted. You can't work outside of their rules and regulations to achieve and go further. So I quickly decided after a year or so that that wasn't the life for me. And I went out and started life in the Alps and did a ski season working for a tour operator, a tour company called Mark Warner, who as a ski host on £45 a week. But I met every week a new set of guests and clients that holidayed there. My job was to give them as much time, happiness as possible, spend my time showing them around the mountain and eating with them and socializing with them, and ensuring they had the best time possible. And we worked with a load of people very, very close together. It wasn't about the money, it was about enjoying our time there. And that's what I fell for, and that's what I realised I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So ended up managing hotels for them for a year or so, and then moved to Chamonix, having done a lot of business plans around the Alps, and found a little bar. Realised that starting off there was really, really a good idea, and meeting people, and set up Chamserve, Chamonix Accommodation Services, pretty quickly after buying the bar. And it was a great source to meet clients and meet guests and meet owners as well. That I was quite early into it compared to a lot of property management companies around now. So it's quite easy to get owners to sign up with me. They came in and they were after people doing their cleaning and linen, and if I could get them a booking or two, that's what I'd do.
I want to come back to the bar. I absolutely do, but I cannot let this pass without asking what the Hollywood blockbuster is, and can you give us the specific timestamp on the DVD that we can all pause it and look at you?
Oh my God. So the film was called The Thin Red Line. It had some pretty big stars in there: John Travolta, Nick Nolte, Sean Penn. Loads. It was a World War II film. I can't remember if it was set in the Philippines, but it was obviously filmed in a place called Cape Tribulation, up in the northern part of Australia. I think it's Queensland, isn't it? For about 3 months, I was. There was 4 of us. We were quite late to the film. We found out about it. We went to where their casting office, and they said, "Oh no, we're we're full now. We've got all the extras we need, and we lied, or I lied. I said no, but we're proper actors. We're all on EastEnders. You've got, and we just pestered them for about a week, and they eventually said, "All right, okay, we can put you in the second unit. It's not going to be work every day." So we were in the second unit, and so we'd get a call the day before to say, "Right, you're working tomorrow." So we'd rent the same battered old Peugeot 205. It cost us about $25 a day to rent this thing. One of us would have to stay sober because it was a 3:00 start to drive up to be at the film area at 7 a.m, where we get fed breakfast and put on our soldier's uniform and then get some makeup on. If we felt the need, we'd get our hair cut and got paid $40 for the pleasure of getting a haircut. My hair started thinning already, so I was constantly getting my hair cut, saying, "Oh no, they've told me I've got to have my hair cut again." So that was an extra few quid in the bank. We were paid about $200 a day. It was a lot of money. It was $250 a day. And on occasion we got to die a few times, and if that was the case, we often had to go into the makeup area where we got extra blood poured over us or something like that, and that was when we often met one of the main stars who were being made up as well. But to be honest, most of the time was sat reading and chatting and eating a lot. So we were supposed to be in the army, but not putting on weight, as you can imagine. It was a dilemma.
Second World War rationing had been abandoned by this point.
It was a great time. Honestly, really good fun. It didn't feel boring at all. It was about 8, but I think I might have died about 20 or 30 times. But you can see me in the film, probably about 20 minutes in. We were on a boat. It wasn't on the water, but the film makes it look as if we were on the water. And there's some crazy soldier praying, and we're all frightened, thinking we're going to go to our death. It's a bit like the Dunkirk, film. It was that sort of thing where people are on the big launch, the landing launch boats. And then I think my face takes up half the screen. So there we are, my one claim to fame.
I'll keep an eye out for that. I've just Googled it. IMDb rating of 7.6, so it passes my filter. I can watch it.
It's a very
George Clooney, one of your co-stars.
Yeah, he's in it. Not for long. He's in it.
He also got killed several times, did he?
He's in it a bit longer than me, but not for long. I'm about 3.5 seconds, I think.
I just watched the Pacific, the HBO series. I just rewatched that the other day, actually. So Guadalcanal was where the film set as well, isn't it? So really interesting. So be looking out for the thin red line.
Okay.
I know you're not going to be in Pacific, but that's good. So let's talk bars, because I have a history of being coming from bars too. So tell me about yours, Neil.
My brother and I, we both worked for Mark Warner, and we decided that a career in the Alps is for us, having done a couple of seasons there, and we felt working and living away from home in the UK was it was okay. That's what we liked. We loved our skiing. We were lucky enough to ski as children. We were lucky enough to go on skiing holidays with the family and with the school as well. So a life of and obviously skiing on a daily job with Mark Warner was brilliant as well. So we thought, well, that's our social life sorted. We did spend a lot of time in bars as youngsters, working in the city. That was the life. That was the culture. We were told not to come back to work if we drank more than 3 pints of lager or beer over lunchtime. And it was a very drinky culture back in the day. It was a consideration. We moved to Chamonix. Right, let's buy a bar. We might save a few quid if it's our own bar. We owned it for the best part of 12 years. I sold it in 2013, the same year I got married. So there may be a coincidence there. The bar was a very small bar. It was a sort of underground bar. It was a very local bar. We ensured it stayed a local bar, lots of happy hours, lots of quiz nights. We opened at 4:00 in the afternoon, closed at 2 in the morning. We had lots of late lock-ins. We were quite good apart from the late logins, but we kept it quiet, and the gendarmes knew exactly what we were doing, and and we were respectful of that. We kept our noses clean. But the bar helped with the locals that came in for drinks, and some of them were property owners, looking for someone to take care of their property, do the security check, do a clean after they stayed, launder the linen. I lived above the bar. The bar came with a studio. It was about a 25-metre studio. It had a view of the back wall of the restaurant behind us. A sofa bed, a little kitchenette, and a shower room. And then within about 2 years, 3/4 of the studio was full of linen and towels and cleaning products. And I ran my business out of there for about 2 years. Then Heather turned up on the scene, my now wife. She came to Chamonix with a group of friends and found her way into the bar. She got recommended the bar by the people she was staying with. And before I know it, she'd moved in with me and the linen and the towels and my computer. So we had to expand, and so we rented somewhere and kept the business ran out of the studio. And Heather and I moved into an apartment that we rented. And before we knew it, we had our lovely daughter Molly, who's now 19 and at university in Newcastle. So, it's been a whirlwind life. But the bar was great. And out of the bar, we started to grow Chamserve, which was great. And we used the bar credit card machine to take payments. We used the bar to meet and greet some of the clients that came and picked up the keys. Certainly to chat with our owners and things like that. Yeah, it was an integral part of the setup of Chamserve. And it maintained that time happiness scenario. People came into the bar to have a good time, as did our guests and our owners. So that was it, and the staff as well, because a lot of the staff that we worked with also worked in the bar. So it was a great setting for us.
I love that. Was that accidental, or was that the entrepreneurial spirit that just kind of came in, or was it a case of, here, Neil, can I have a pint, and whilst you're at it, can you clean my sheets?
Well, sort of yes and no. So I ended up managing a hotel for Mark Warner. So I was looking at businesses in and around the Alps, and it wasn't just France. It was throughout the Alps in Italy and Austria as well. I'd worked in Italy with Mark Warner, and I've worked in Austria for Mark Warner as well. But France, I mean, as bad as my English is, my French is still shocking. I'm so dyslexic. Language is a real struggle for me. And I realised that France was probably the better. Chamonix was just the ideal place. Chamonix is great. It's an hour away from Geneva, but it's a proper town. It's not just a ski resort. It's a proper alpine town. You've got schools, and there you have cinemas, you have sports centres. It's a proper town. It's a 12-month of the year town, unlike a lot of ski resorts. So it was a place to live. We knew we could have two bites of the cherry with a business there. We had a distinct summer season, an alpine climbing and walking season, and a tourist season, and a distinct winter season. Today, there is barely any season. The two seasons are almost overlapping. There's, November's a quiet month where a lot of businesses might close down and renovate or whatever for a month. But it's a proper town. It's a great place to live as a result. And it's actually busier in the summer than the winter now with tourists and travellers, visitors. We have, for example, the UTMB, which is the Ultra Trail. It's an event at the end of the year. There's 4 or 5 different races all run about the same sort of time. But the biggest race is basically, I think, something like 150 kilometres, 3.5 marathons. And it involves a 10,000 metre ascent around Mont Blanc. So you travel around Mont Blanc. So you're climbing Mont Blanc twice in the course of this race. Won this year by an English chap in about 21 hours. 21 hours to run 3.5 kilometres, which includes 10,000 metres of climbing. It's ridiculous what these guys do. An English guy won it, and an English guy came third as well. So rock on the English. It was a bit of a wet one this year, and I think it was that they explained away that the Brits won because of the climate.
We're used to the inclement weather. Oh dear, 21 hours. That doesn't sound like time happiness to me.
Well, God, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's ridiculous. But again, back to your point about Chamserve and the bar, how it seemed to mash together. I went to visit. I looked at hostels. I looked at at hotels. I looked at converting an old hotel into apartments. I looked at, running a chalet as a catered chalet, that sort of thing. So I was looking at all types of businesses, but at the end of the day, it sort of came down to money. Unless we got some serious investment, we couldn't buy a big hotel. And of course, we didn't know what the bloody hell we were doing as well. We'd managed hotels, but we had a big company helping us and supporting us and lots of staff. And there we were going into managing our own business. So the bar, it seemed, was a good start. We could run it with just the two of us. We would have to work hard, but the two of us could run it, and I could start up Chamserve at the same time next to it. So within a few months, I'd started taking on clients and leaving my brother to run the business of the bar, and I was doing shifts, if you like, and doing the bookkeeping and the accounts, whilst Andrew was managing the bar, and I started Chamserve. And I'm still friends with the same people that I met in that first year. So I still ski with a guy that I managed his studios. I've just said goodbye to an owner who's sold his property, having owned it for 22 years, 23 years, is now retiring. So I'm still great friends with some of the owners. I think we've got one owner that joined us in that first year who's again selling up. They're in their 70s now. So it's a shame to say goodbye. So we developed long-term relationships with this business of the bar and of Chamserve as well. I'm still very good friends with people that used to come in the bar.
Brilliant. One area which we haven't touched on, which I really want to do before we close this podcast, this episode, is health, because that's been incredibly important to you. Obviously, you come from a sporty background. You've enjoyed lots of different sports, and skiing is your passion now. But over the last year, you've taken part in an Ironman, which is one hell of a challenge for somebody who's kind of my age.
Yeah, well, back to school. When I was at school, it's just been a bit philosophical about life. What makes me happy? And at school, I didn't do particularly well in classes, and I was very shy in classes. But doing sport, I was very vocal. I was very energetic. I couldn't get enough of it. I played every sport you could possibly play. And throughout my youth, I did the same. My knees started giving way in my 20s. And it was a huge consideration when I went for a job with Mark Warner to be a ski host. In fact, I actually originally applied as a handyman, thinking, my knees won't be able to cope skiing. But I got talked into ski hosting, and if you look after yourself and stay fit and do regular sports, your body tends to take care of itself a bit more. So whilst I've got arthritic bones in my body and dodgy knees with lack of cartilage, regular exercise it helps it, and I've discovered plasma replacement process, which is injections of they take your blood out of your body, only a small tube of it, and they whiz it around in the centrifugal force, separating the red blood cells from the white blood cells. And the white blood cells are the building blocks of your body, if you like, and they're the real good things. And they inject that into the areas of your body that you really need. In my case, it's my knees around my cartilage, and the mountain guides and the ski instructors and the helicopter pilots here, my doctor says they all swear by it. They've increased the longevity of their careers in the ski industry, in the mountain industry, in the Alps here. And what it's enabled me to do is get back to doing a lot more exercise, really pushing myself, which I really enjoyed doing. It's
an Ironman in the Alps.
Well, it was hard work. But I enjoyed the challenge. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the routine of exercising and preparing for something that's quite big like that. And to be honest, it was also something my wife did as well. My wife wanted to do it. My wife's very, very keen on her fitness, so it was a really good way of doing something together with my wife. So we were training together. We did the Ironman together. She beat me by a minute and a half. She's very proud of.
Not let you forget.
No, she doesn't let you forget. No. But we, as a result, I spend a lot of my time working, and whilst my wife is part of the business and she does some cleaning and looking after some of the properties for me, we really work separately. We don't get on well when we work together in a business environment, but training together and going out together. I mean, we're married for a reason, obviously, but not to work together. We're married to enjoy ourselves together, and we found actually true happiness. I'm sure we've come closer as a result of doing the outdoor activities and doing things together, enjoying our social life, spending more time with each other, especially now that Molly's left us. So she left us a year ago to work, or a year and a half ago to work in the UK during a year before she went to university. In France, she graduated when she was only just 17. The years are different in France, so she felt she took a year off working and travelling before she went to university. So she's been not part of our lives every day for pretty much the last 2 years, and so we've had to reconnect and develop new things together, and this is one of those things. And I get so much enjoyment out of my time doing things with my wife now, whether it's climbing, hiking, walking, playing tennis, that sort of thing, and training for these events.
Well, brilliant. Time happiness definitely most important to you. So I might have led you into the answer to the last question of the day. This is the Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast. What does an ambitious lifestyle business look like for you, Neil?
It's just understanding what you want. For me, you if you realise what you want, then you pursue it. And I think we touched on it back right at the beginning. I looked at my career when in Lloyd's of London, and I realised then that money and career development and working for someone else, and it wasn't me. It was the lifestyle that I wanted. So leaving and working for £45 a week as a ski host, starting my own business. Yes, I've been working hard, but it's been for me, and having the ability to understand that what makes me happy makes other people ultimately happy, like my wife as well. And it's about enjoying the moments you have on your own and together with other people. It's not about money. It's about enjoying your one life that you have and being happy and content with what you've got. But I think you've got to start with yourself before you think about other people. You've got to be happy in yourself.
Yeah. Again, that first line of the ultimate job description that I described, what I want. And I think you've described the journey there, Neil, that a lot of people go through in their sort of late teens, early 20s, of discovering what they truly want. They think it may well be fame and fortune, and actually they soon figure out that that's not what makes them happy. And I'd love to challenge listeners today to just listen back to this episode and just notice how many times Neil says, what makes me happy? What gives me happiness? What I enjoy? What I really want? That sort of language shows how attuned Neil is to what genuinely gives him, his team, his clients, true time happiness. So after this podcast, don't switch on to the next podcast. Just like and subscribe to this one first, of course. Leave a comment wherever you listen to your podcasts. But then get a nice big pad of paper out and just plan through, what do you really want? What really makes you happy? And what gives you true time happiness? Neil, thank you ever so much for joining us on the Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast. It's been a pleasure to speak to you today.
My pleasure, and I can sign autographs for the Thin Red Line whenever you want.
Well, now that we've done an audio-only podcast, no one knows what you look like. So you're one that isn't George Clooney, yeah?
I'm not George Clooney, yeah. No. Les, thank you very much. It's been a real thrill.
Thank you, everybody. And for everyone listening, we shall speak to you and hopefully see you next month.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So there we are, another episode in the can. How was it for you? Please let us know. However you listen to these podcasts, please leave a review on that platform. Let us know what we can do better, what you like, what you don't like, and how we can improve to make this show even better for you. We'll see you next time.